Today we're going to talk about dealing with gender dysphoria, which I have. Duh. Today we're going to talk about how to deal with gender dysphoria. Basically, I'm going to give my personal experience and you can learn from that maybe. So, what is gender dysphoria for anyone that isn't trans, just curious? Gender dysphoria is basically having a gender identity that differs from the sex you were assigned at birth. So, for me, I'm a trans woman. I was assigned male at birth and not comfortable with that. So from the very beginning, I remember being 3 and like, I want to be a ballerina. And I was telling my parents about this because a girl in my class, she had these sparkling pink shoes and I really wanted them. I wanted sparkling pink things. And when I asked my parents about it, they were just like, turned into a whole ordeal. My dad would have had to shame me, be like, you're a man, you're a man. And because of that, I basically had to suppress my feelings of wanting to be a girl as a little boy. So that was kind of uncomfortable. And I just lived on. But when it came to the activities about like playing with like those, there's like these little like figurine girly toys. I don't even know the name because I was like 6 or 7. My brother would like tease me, like, why are you doing girl toys with your friend? And I had like 2 older brothers, so it was like, because I couldn't do a lot of like feminine things without them like judging me. I mean, and I remember this one girl when I was in 4th grade being like, since you're a boy, you have to play with the other boys, not us, which I always thought was weird that she said that because I've seen a lot of like little boys playing with girls or whatever. And I didn't get that. I didn't get it. And I was playing with guys that were really toxic that kept calling me the F slur constantly. And my best friend at the time, he would call me the F slur, make fun of my voice for being high, etc. Just a whole thing. And I got slapped by him at a sleepover. It was so uncomfortable. But I mean, I found ways to deal with that as a kid with my suppression era. I basically would just watch a lot of cartoons, like Adventure Time, Regular Show, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Love that show so much. I would watch a lot of those shows and I would just dissociate, which sounds horrible, but I would just pretend like I was in a different world. I would even pray to God at night that I would wake up and be Finn from Adventure Time or just be in a different world. Like, God, please, please make me in the Avatar: The Last Airbender universe and I can be friends with Aang. But also, the main thing was I would go on video games online and I would have online friends. And that genuinely helped me out so much as a kid, having friendships online because I would play Minecraft all the time. I'd play Roblox all the time. I remember the first game I made friends with online was, I think, White Noise Online on Xbox. I don't know if any of you know that, but I think that's how I made a lot of friends. I was like 11 or 12 at the time, making online friends that way. And Castle Miner Z, which is an old gym. But yeah, I would just make friends online that also felt like they're kind of outcast, shy in school or whatever. Because I was so quiet when I was in elementary school. I got the no peep award because I didn't talk and I didn't feel comfortable talking with other kids. I just wanted to escape reality when I got home because it was just so bad at school. I'm like, okay, let me go online. Let me play Skyrim. Let me go on Minecraft with friends. Let's do like the Minecraft Hunger Games, all that good stuff. So basically, what I'm trying to say is with this suppression that I had, I try to find things to distract myself, and gaming was a huge thing for me. I did it all the time. I would stay up to like 4 a.m. gaming with friends in middle school. But even despite all of that, I was still struggling with my sexuality. I came out as gay when I was 14, and I pray to God, please don't make me gay. I'm not gay. And I couldn't help it. I really couldn't. I tried. Obviously, that failed. So it was just difficult, because I'm like, okay, I came out, yay. I'm still suppressing my gender dysphoria that's still there. And when I told my mom about that, she's like, oh, so you're not just gay. I'm like, yeah, I have gender dysphoria too. She's like, oh, okay, I can give you wigs, we can get you makeup, we can do all of that. And I think that was a real help for me because it made me know that like one of my biggest support systems helped me. And I think it's good having a support system. And I say this as like there's people that don't or struggle with that. So if you're struggling with a support system, then hopefully you have like a good friend. If not, maybe you can find someone in the community because you can always reach out to other trans people. But as a teen, I did have my mother and she did help with giving wigs, makeup, etc. It was definitely a difficult stage in my life because it's like I had to release all the suppression that my whole childhood and like adolescence, I just had to like kind of like, oh, I can't do this, I can't. It felt really damn good, just like doing what I want without having this fear of like what will others think. But I also did have really bad social anxiety back then, like horribly. I couldn't go out in public without wanting to like have a mask covering myself. Because when COVID happened, I would wear the mask all the time. And I think even like after, like everyone's like, oh, it's fine now, you can come outside and do whatever. I would still have the mask for like 2 more years. But like, why do you still have a mask on? But while I was releasing all that suppression, I also had to deal with like the misgendering, me not being comfortable with that. Because when you're starting out, there's a lot of factors that like you're trying to get used to. You also have to educate yourself on, like starting HRT. That was the whole thing. I was like researching for like a year, like what do I do? it's fine to get a little nervous. I was just a little nervous about everything, but once I did HRT and everything was looking okay, and like I was talking to doctors, everything was fine, I felt more comfortable. I will say that it's really difficult starting this journey when like majority of people are calling you he, but then over time, like it's less he's, and it just seems like it never stops sometimes. I've mentioned before that I did start my transition in high school. So, um, that was not fun. That was like really hard to do. You could imagine I had multiple people that knew me from elementary school. So even when I was passing a lot, people would still call me he and be like, that's a tranny. So yeah, I dealt with that. I had a lot of courage to do that, but I think I reached a point where I'm like, I don't care anymore. And this is when I was like really depressed. So taking meds now. But yeah, when I would get misgendered in school, I think a lot of me was really mad in my head, but obviously I wouldn't try to have outbursts at people that misgendered me like that because it's not their fault most of the time. But I think I would just vent about it when I got home or just told myself, hey, like you're just starting out, like this happens. But at the end of the day, there's going to be people that know like deep down who you are, even if there's going to be people that don't accept you with it or just don't get it. And the outward appearance, they're never going to see that. But you're going to have people in your community, or a lot of people in general, that will be very understanding and support you and see you as for who you are. I think from my experience in high school, being at the same school for years, people knew who I was before. So it was really hard for them to get used to the new person. Same thing with like family, friends. It took a bit for them too, but I think over time now everyone says she, her, except like one of my brothers. But anyways, it's not only a transition for you, but it's a transition for like your closest friends, family. They're like, oh, okay, we have to get used to your new pronouns, all that stuff. So I think I just told myself, these people knew me for like years. And that one guy at the Applebee's, he saw me walk into the men's restroom when I was starting my transition, when I was like in the phase, and he's like, ma'am, why are you in here? During school, I would just wear baggy clothes, light makeup. Like I would do concealer for my acne. And I would also do like a little lipstick and mascara. Hormone replacement therapy has helped with gender dysphoria because I noticed there has been a physical difference. There's not obviously going to be a difference of I'm going to turn into Megan Fox, but there was definitely a difference with the fat deposit on my face. Like I've looked at pictures before and after. I'm like, oh my God. And also a little breast development, but I did have surgery for that and it helped significantly with my confidence. Also, something that did help with my dysphoria was I went on medications for my anxiety and my bipolar. I had a lot of episodes because of my dysphoria. Back then, I remember just like crying and crying and it was bad. I do think the medication that I'm taking has helped significantly with that. So there's definitely other ways that you can probably find with going about anxiety. There's a lot, but I'm just saying like finding something to help deal with the anxiety part or just talking to a therapist. I've had bad experiences with BetterHelp, so I'm not going to say that. I had a therapist in BetterHelp that rolled her eyes at me, and I had one therapist that was telling me I should pray for my problems to go away. Huh? But anyways, having a therapist to help go through your gender dysphoria is a real huge game changer. Maybe find one that's trans. I actually had a trans therapist once and he understood me so well. It was so nice. Like, oh, that was perfect. Yeah, if you find a therapist like in the LGBT community, like that's cool too. I've been trans for about 5 to 6 years, so I've learned a lot of lessons with dealing with relationships, men, and with friends. In the beginning, I remember I craved having male validation because I felt like, oh, if like men like me, then then clearly I've passed really well as a trans woman. And so definitely watch out for, that because I've actually been sexually harassed about 3 times and I kept having this unhealthy pattern. I eventually just got to the point where it's like, I can't keep doing this shit. And I just didn't know because I started dating when I was like 19 and also starting my transition around that time. So it was just way too confusing. And I dealt with like a chaser guy literally telling me that I was just an experiment for him. You don't need to seek male validation to help with your dysphoria because I learned it the hard way that that is just not healthy at all. I think the healthier way I've been about that is just like having my girlfriends compliment me with that or just like my mom. I want that more at the end of the day than just having like people objectify me. I'm gonna get into ways that I cope with dealing with gender dysphoria. One thing is plushies. Huh? I'm gonna show y'all right now. I have all these plushies right here. Let me tell y'all right now, I'll be like a 70-year-old woman and still have all my plushies with me. When I was 16, they have helped me out so much because for like my childhood, I was told like, I can't have any girl toys. I can't have dolls, Barbies. I said, fuck that shit. I had Pusheen. I love Pusheen to death. Pusheen is my favorite thing in this world. I mean, look at this thing. it makes me happy because I didn't get a chance to play with Barbie dolls, do all that, and now I can do what I want because I'm an adult. I also like keeping them on the bed with me. I remember a year ago when I was crying because I didn't get to live the childhood experience I wanted because I couldn't experience braiding my friend's hair or doing that Orbeez spa thing or watching Twilight. Doing sleepovers because I didn't get to have a fun sleepover experience with girls because I had it with my male friend and his other two friends, and I got flicked off, I got slapped, I got spat on, and then they forced me to go with them to the other guy's sister's closet to look at panties. Huh? Why are men I think after that crying episode, I was like, you know what? I can just buy a Barbie doll off eBay. So I got this violin Barbie because I always thought that's what I wanted to be when I grew up was like a violinist, which I'm not, but that's what I wanted. So I said, sure, I'm gonna get this one and it's cute and I like it. And I don't care what people say. Also, another thing was I would watch like movies that I didn't as a kid because I was scared. Like, oh my God, like if I watch Twilight, then people are gonna make fun of me. Fuck that shit. I like Twilight. I liked all the Twilights. Also, Legally Blonde, we got Clueless, all that good stuff. And don't let anyone treat you badly just because you wanted to get some toys. Like, I had a man that was telling me, aren't you a grown woman? Isn't that weird? I don't care. And what makes me happy is with one of my best friends, we do sleepovers together, and they're actually healthy sleepovers. They're not ones where I'm getting slapped, flicked off, spat on, and forced to look at his sister's panties. That's some Alabama stuff. That was weird. That was weird. Also, venting slash ranting a lot helps so much. I would always have someone I could vent, rant to, because whenever I deal with like a transphobic person or just like, mean person, I don't know, anything. I just vent about it. Like, I don't get how people can be this ignorant. I can't believe he's saying I look ugly. It's good to have that as a way to just kind of talk about your problems, which is like an obvious, like, we should have like someone we can vent rant to about things. Having someone that is also trans or in the community, though, does help a lot because they can give advice and just be there to, like, empathize with you about what you're going through. I do want to get into the bad ways of coping with gender dysphoria. One thing that I would do was like obsess over the surgeries, which I understand like wanting to get surgeries, but I wish back then I told myself, hey, like you're literally 16, insurance is gonna be a bitch to cover this. Like just be patient, wait, don't think about it for like 4 hours a day. I know it's gonna be hard to like not think about it because you want it, and I wanted to get all the surgeries. You don't need to get all the surgeries you want to be a woman or be a man, because I wanted to get full on facial feminization surgery. And I only got like a rhinoplasty and I'm fine with that. Like I didn't want to get like all the above now, but back then I wanted to get every little thing. So I'm just letting you know, don't feel pressured because I know that there's other creators that get facial feminization surgery, but like don't feel like you need to do that in order to be like woman, man enough, because I felt that way that like, oh, I need to get these surgeries, I need to do all that, but like you really don't. If you want to do it because it makes you feel more feminine, masculine, and makes you feel more comfortable, go right the fuck ahead. But I would obsess about it a lot, and it wasn't healthy for me because I wouldn't focus on my schoolwork. I'll get to my goal of like wanting to get surgery if I do that, get a good job, or just all the above. Also, one more thing, I mentioned it in another video of mine. This involves like a eating disorder, so if you don't want to watch, I had anorexia when I was in middle school, and I would literally eat like maybe an apple a day. Some points it was that bad. I just don't want you guys to feel like you need to like be really, really skinny, be a certain body type to be woman enough, because I felt like I had to be like skin and bones and be so ultra feminine. Like it was tough, it was really difficult, and as a teenager it's really hard. Like you can imagine that's already hard enough just as a person, like dealing with your body image. Like as a trans girl or trans man, like it's really hurtful. But I just wanted to share that experience as someone who's been through that. I wanted to end this video off by saying that gender dysphoria is painful, confusing, and very isolating, but it's something that we can work through, maybe very slowly. You're not alone, you're not broken, there's nothing wrong with you. This is just something that we have. I'm just letting you know that you're loved, and I hope the very best for you. And goodbye.